Hello YouTube, welcome to my channel. I'm TFR Wilderness and welcome to the first of this year's end of month bot haul, where I show you all the Transformer related items that I've picked out throughout the month, this being the month of January 2022 and the first episode for season 7 of my end of month bot hauls, because it's something that I do on my channel. I started doing them in 2015. I stopped doing them in 2016 because of reasons. And then I resumed doing them in 2017, and I've been running them every year since. And if you count all the years that I've been doing this, this is the 7th year I've been doing this. So this is season 7. So anyway, like I said, I've got a bunch of things I've got this month. Some of them you will have seen in my unboxing videos. Some of them you would have seen in the reviews I've done this month. Couple of things beforehand. Hasbro Pulse came in clutch this month with no less than 4 pre-ordered items that I placed last year, which was pretty good. So that was good, and I've also had a notification that I might get another one next week. So Hasbro Pulse are doing the business at the moment, which is pretty good. I just wanted to mention that because that was pretty good this month. So let's get on with things, shall we? So I like to do these in chronological order, in order of arrival. And obviously, as this is January, I have a little thing whereby I like to... The first bot that arrives on any given year goes on to sort of like... I love doing my lists, and the first bot, the first and last bot of every year goes on to a little sub-list that I do. The last bot I got last year was that Unrustables Otomo at the NEC Toy Fair. And I ordered a couple of things early doors. In fact, I went on. I was watching the TV, for the chimes of Big Ben for midnight on New Year's Eve, and I had my phone ready to go. And as soon as the thingy chimed midnight, I went onto my phone, went straight onto Kapow, and I pre-ordered, a third-party Legend figure that I really wanted to get. And I was expecting that to come in first. But a couple of days later, I ordered something else off eBay, and that arrived before it. And so, the first bot to arrive in this year, the year of 2020, is this guy. Generation Selects Kingdom Galvatron G1 coloured. So, yeah. Now, back in the last year, I really got a taste for getting Generation Selects figures. I bought a bunch of them. Generation Selects are just repaints of existing moulds. I'm not really one for doing repaints, but I don't know. Those Generation Selects repaints just look so damn good, don't they? And I just couldn't help myself. And this guy, obviously, it's a repaint of the Kingdom Galvatron. I have Kingdom Galvatron. I got him last year. My Kingdom Galvatron, he had the shoulder issue with both the shoulders, and I did a very clumsy fix on it because I've been watching them videos on YouTube on how to do the fix. It wasn't easy. I put a number of stress marks on the shoulder joints when I was trying to prise them apart to get the pin out, so I wasn't too pleased with that. Plus the fact, he came with all that space mud all over him, which I don't mind so much. I know some people don't like it, but... the weathering paintwork that they put on them figures. And so I thought, well, I've got Kingdom Galvatron, I've got a Kingdom Earth, I've got the Kingdom Ultra Magnus, and obviously I'm not, going back to the beginning of G1. I was into the Marvel G1 comics, and then Galvatron had his debut, obviously, in Transformers the movie, but he was also had his debut in the UK comics in the Target 2006 storyline, which ran parallel with the movie when it came out in theatres in 1986. And Galvatron had his introduction, and it was also the introduction of the new figures that they bought out, for around about that time. Galvatron, Cyclonus Scourge. Then you had, Cup, Hot Rod and Blur, and Ultra Magnus. Ultra Magnus was, he was like one of the big sort of like Autobot release of that year. And so they brought him into the storyline, and Magnus and Galvatron had that massive coming together, that massive great fight in Target 2006. Magnus is driving down the road, Galvatron's on the back trying to, you know, beat the shit out of him. And it was penned by Jeff Senior, one of my favourite artists from, you know, the Marvel G1, and I just love that. You know, it's just amazing. And you know, this represents that Galvatron, not the other Kingdom Galvatron that I've got. I felt like I wanted to get this because it's in G1 colours, and you know, I got you know, large nostalgia for this version of Galvatron, and I decided to get it. And yeah, he's great. He's awesome. Obviously, the shoulders are fine. Folded shoulders are fine. There's no shoulder problem. He looks amazing. He comes with a bunch of stickers. You can sticker him up to look like a G1 toy, but no, mine's going plain. Mine's staying, you know, stock. You know, no stickers on this guy because, you know, that's what he was like in the Marvel G1 comic. And I felt like, even though I had the mold already, I didn't really need to buy this. I decided to get it, and the Kingdom Galvatron mold just popped up on so many people's, you know, top bots of the year list last year. You know, so many people, you know, put him up as one of their best bots of the year. And there's nothing wrong with the mold. You know, it's a great mold. It doesn't do the gun mode, but you know, that's neither here nor there, really, is it? In this day and age, you know, gun transformers are so passé. You know, they're not really a thing these days. Yeah. So, Generation Select's Kingdom G1 Galvatron. He was the first bot to arrive, even though another figure should have pipped him to the post. But we'll get into that next. So, yeah, got him, and really, really happy with him. And the figure that should have arrived is this guy. Iron Factory Bay Razor. One of their new sort of Iron Factory releases they're doing this year. They've got a bunch of figures on their roster that will be coming out. This is one of the first figures to drop in 2022. It's basically their Beachcomber. I like to character mold set collect Beachcomber, so I had to get this guy. And he's the one of two Legend scale third-party Beachcombers I got this month. Little teaser for later on. This guy, he's pretty neat. He's got that unusual aesthetic. You know, he's got that specific aesthetic that Iron Factory give onto their characters. I mean, they're sort of going into this sort of like, you know, sort of shogun, sort of samurai type look with their figures going forwards into this year, which is really great. But it's an acquired taste, and whether you like that thing or not, you know, it's up to you. But this guy, he's really neat. He's really cool. I like him a lot. But when I got him out the box, you can see he's quite a small, chunky little bot, and he's got loads of joints. The articulation on this thing is insane, the amount of poses you can put him in. But because of that, he's got all these little joints, and he's all these sort of stumpy little limbs. He's a bit of a bear to transform, and I like to transform things, you know, ad hoc. You know, I don't use the instructions, I just get it out and I mess around with it, because, you know, transformers are a puzzle at the end of the day, and I like a puzzle. And I really struggled to get the arms pegged into the back of the alt mode, and it was a right faff, because, you know, everything's so small and chunky, and there's limited clearances, and he's a bit of a mare to transform in that regard. I mean, he's not impossible, you know, he's just awkward, and I had a bit of a moment with him. So yeah, but apart from that, I really like the look of him. He looks amazing. His buggy mode looks great. His robot mode looks cool. He's a neat little figure, but he should have been, in my opinion, the first bot I got this year. But Royal Mail, for some reason, they tried to deliver him the same day that Generation Select's Galvatron arrived, but because I didn't leave the secret place open, because a couple of times this month I've had instances where I wasn't expecting a parcel delivery, so I didn't leave my safe place open for the package deliveries. And then I get to work and I get an email notification, oh, your parcel's out for delivery today. And it's like, oh, bloody hell, I didn't leave the side door open. I didn't leave the note in the door, you know. And that happened a couple of times. And in this case, Royal Mail took it back and they delivered it the following day. So this guy should have arrived the same day that Galvatron arrived, but he didn't arrive the day after. So Galvatron arrived on the 7th and this guy arrived on the 8th. But this was the first bot that I bought in 2020, because I literally pulled the trigger on him, you know, like 10-15 seconds after midnight, because I was on the Kapow website and just went bang as soon as the chimes of Big Ben ran out. So yeah, he was the first bot I bought, but he wasn't the first bot to arrive. So yeah, Iron Factory Bay Razor. Right, then on the 10th, I had a bunch of things arrive on the 10th. starting off with comic. Right, yeah. Obviously, I'm carrying on buying some IDW comics, even though it's now widely known that the IDW are going to lose the Transformers license later on this year. So I'm just going to run out the comics that I'm getting. I'm probably not going to bother with anymore. But this one, the Wreckers, Treads and Circuits. This issue is actually really good. Because they're on the planet of Velocitron, it's a different Wreckers lineup to the more familiar one that we're used to. But they've put a bunch of other characters in, but they do work quite well. I mean, you've got Ricochet, you've got Hotshot, you've got Aerolon, you've got Thunderclash, you've got Circuit, who else we got? Minerva's in there as well. So, yeah, so there's a good spread of characters, and they've come to the planet Velocitron because the Decepticon Mayhem crew are trying to disrupt the race, and the race is, they have this big race on Velocitron, and the winner then becomes the leader of the planet and rules over it for a year until they have. It's called the Speedia 500, and Mayhem are gonna basically be terrorists and trying to disrupt things, and the Wreckers have come in to try and sort that out. The amount of characters that are in this, so many characters, it's brilliant, the amount of characters, and there's quite a good bit of action in this one. Now, this issue was really, really good. I really enjoyed this issue. It's probably one of out of this series of the Wreckers, Treads and Circuit. This is my favourite issue. Really, really good. I really enjoyed it, and so that was the first comic I got. Then my Korean packages arrived. Now this year I've got this thing whereby I'm collecting the Hello Carbot Season 11 Samba series figures, and I've heard rumours from Mr. KR Brickbot that the new Season 12 toy line is getting launched in April. So I want to get I've decided I want to go all in with this toy line. I want to get all the figures for the Hello Carbot Season 11 Samba toy line, and I'd only had a couple from last year. So I'm making it my thing to get all the remaining characters over the first couple of months of this year. And with that idea, I bought three Korean toys this month. Usually I only buy 2 per month, but I bought 3. And what's his name? Rob Stein 1 did a video about showing people how to buy stuff off G Market. Now I've bought loads of stuff off G Market, so I don't really know how to buy stuff off G Market, and I do it all the time. But he had a few little things a few pointers that I'd not really seen before, like how to do bulk purchases and also how to use their coupon system, because they have a bunch of coupons that you can select and download, and then you can apply them to your purchases, and don't give you massive savings, but Korea, G Market do this thing where they do local shipping and then international shipping, and the local shipping can be like 2,000 to 3,000 won, and these coupons can be around about 2,000 to 3,000 won, and they can wipe out that shipping thing, so you save a bit of money there. Anyway, so I did this bulk order of 3 Hello Carbot figures from Season 11, and they all arrived on the 10th. I've done reviews on them, and the first guy is this guy, Hello Carbot Samba Red Wiler. I don't mind saying that I love this guy's name, Red Wiler, such a cool name. He's a fire engine bot. He's okay, he looks pretty cool in robot mode. I mean, he's combined here with his Samba animal, because he's got the old Samba gimmick there, which where you have that little thing that comes through and it changes the icon on his chest depending on what power up he's got. This gimmick whereby the Samba animal comes off and it plugs into the back of the robot mode is pretty cool. The robot modes themselves are a little compromised because of this. I mean, this guy, he's got some very sort of short, stumpy, chunky limbs, and they're not the tallest figures in the world, but the usual build quality is there. They look really cool, and the Samba gimmick is pretty awesome, and it's the reason why I've decided to go all in with this line, because I like the Samba gimmick. Anyway, so I've got Red Wiler. He's a half-decent figure. Then I got Bearhider. Now, Bearhider isn't a Samba figure. He doesn't have the Samba gimmick, but he's an animal Carbot, and they threw in these two random sort of animal Carbots into Season 11. You got Eagle Hider and Bearhider. I got Eagle Hider last year. Bearhider I needed to get this year, so I got him. He's a decent bot. He's half decent. He turns into a polar bear. He's very much sort of like a shell former. In robot mode, there's quite a lot of the bear kibble just on show, so you don't see much of the the robot tech details showing through, which is kind of a minor gripe that I have on this figure. His articulation's a bit weird, especially on his fists. But he's an okay bot. He's not bad, and there's a few things I would prefer them to have done slightly differently with this guy. But yeah, he's all right. He's okay. He's a decent figure, and I was going to get him anyway because I just think he's an analogue for Polar Claw. We had Eagle Hider, who's an analogue for Air Razor, and now we've got an analogue for Polar Claw. I kind of like it when they do a Hello Carbot figure that you could use as an analogue for a Transformers character. That's quite good. So yeah, I got Bearhider. He's pretty good. And then the third figure, I literally reviewed it the other day. Sandbuster. Hello Carbot Samba Sandbuster. Now this guy's a little bit more like it. He's got issues as well. Most notably the kibble between his legs. You can't, because of that, you can't have him on a stood bolt upright. He has a permanent sort of A stance. This beige coloured plastic is a bit suspicious. It looks, because I've got cracking on one of the elbow joints, and it reminds me of some sort of brittle plastic that I had on a Takara figure that I've got that's done a couple of shelf dives and shattered. So yeah, but he's okay. I love the colours on this guy. I love the the adventure of theming that he's got. He's like a wildlife photographer because he's got this camera and a spotlight, and his Samba animals are a lion. And yeah, he's pretty decent. He's all right. He's got some weird articulation. He's got like the old gorilla arms, which is a bit unusual, and don't really care for that much. But apart from that, he looks great. I like the theming. His alt mode is like an adventurer vehicle. He's pretty cool. He's half decent. He's got some issues, but I quite like him actually. And he's one of the figures out of the Samba line that I was really looking forward to getting. And they all arrived on the 10th. So now moving on, another couple of days, on the 12th, which was a Wednesday, I got first of my Hasbro Pulse arrivals this month, because I still had a number of pre-orders with Hasbro Pulse for various things that sort of carried over from 2021 into 2022, and for whatever reason this month Hasbro Pulse just went mad, and 4 of the pre-ordered items that I placed last year suddenly turned up, and it was great, and it was one of those instances whereby, they were courier deliveries by Yodel, and fortunately, it was one of those ones where I got caught out, where I got the notification to say, oh, you're delivering it today, and the reason being is that the Hasbro Pulse warehouse, where all these products are stored, is literally 20 miles away from where I live. It's in Daventry, which is like less than 20 miles away from where I live, and so whenever they go out for delivery, it's like that. It's almost instant delivery. They're so close. Anyway, so the first of the Hasbro Pulse pre-orders to turn up this month, Kingdom Slammer. Now, I wanted to get this guy. He's got an awesome aesthetic in both his tank mode and his robot mode. I love the look of this guy. Yes, he's he's a weaponizer, modulator. He's got the parts forming thing where you pull him apart to transform him into his alt mode, and you can pull him apart and plug him into various characters that have all the 5mm ports all over, and turn him into armor and weapons for the other characters. Now, as soon as I got him out of the box, I had that, and this. Couple of loose joints straight out of the box. That did not endear this guy to me. Now, as he's a modulator, obviously the waist comes off and you have that peg there, which plugs into there. But it's pretty loose. but I can fix that, right? And the ab joint, this joint, again, it's got a screw, so you know I could tighten the screw up, so I can fix the QC issues that this guy has got. He shouldn't have had them in the first place. You know, you don't expect a brand new toy. You pull it out of the box, and it should be fairly taut and and good. But this guy obviously had some loosey goosey parts on him, and that sort of spoilt my opinion of getting this guy a little bit, and made him a candidate for the worst part I got this month because of that reason. But I can fix those joints quite easily, so I can sort out the problems this guy got. Like I said, I still love the aesthetic this guy's got going on. I don't hate him. It's just that's inexcusable, really. QC issues like that, but he's not a bad figure. And so he was the first of the Hasbro Pulse Pre'orders I got that arrived today. Well, this month, sorry. So also arriving on the same day, I got Beast Wars issue 11. Again, IDW comics are ongoing. I'm collecting Beast Wars, Treads and Circuits, King Grimlock. The Shattered Glass is finished now, so I'm not bothering with that anymore. Yeah. Right. The character you see on the cover of this comic. She's a new character that was introduced for this particular run of the Beast Wars, the 25th anniversary sort of comic storyline that they're doing. Now her name is Scold, and I kind of think she turns into like a snapping turtle type creature, and she's a fembot, she's a female, and she's quite quietly spoken, and she's a bit I don't know, she kind of gets, I wouldn't say bullied by some of the other characters in the Predacon lineup, especially Terrorsaur gives her a lot of grief. But she had a bit of a misadventure in the previous issue, and now the Maximals are attacking the Predacon ship, the Dark Side, and there's this big battle going off, and there's all these various people going on. And while she was having her misadventure, she came across a new proto form in the form of Razor Beast, but he helped her and she helped him, and they had a bit of a thing going on, even though they're Maximal and Predacon, But anyway, during this battle, Terrorsaur kills Razor Beast. He picks him up and then throws him into like an energon deposit, and there's a huge explosion, and obviously he gets vaporized. And then he's like boasting about, oh, that's how you destroy a Predacon. And Scold was really upset, and she literally, I mean, this is spoilers. If you haven't read this, I'm sorry, but this is spoilers. She gets her claw and she puts it straight through Terrorsaur's chest and rips out his spark. Oh, that's classic. Then Waspinator comes in. He says, "Oh, how did they kill Terrorsaur?" And it's like, and she says, "Oh, it was the Maximals that did it." And then she's absolutely fuming. I think she's going to attack the Maximals and blame them for the death of Razor Beast, because had they not attacked, he would have still been alive. But hopefully, Razor Beast will survive. Very much doubt it. He seems to have been vaporized in an energon explosion. But yeah, so yeah, this issue was really, really good actually, especially character development for Scold. Most definitely, it's definitely worth getting for that reason. That arrived on the 12th, and then the next day, the 13th, the next Hasbro Pulse arrival, Kingdom Tigertron. Wow. Now, this guy. I got Cheetor last year, and I didn't have, he was all right. He was okay. My main gripe with Cheetor was the fact they used that light metallic blue on his body rather than the darker blue. So that didn't look quite right. And yet they did the Netflix one, which they fixed that and they put all the darker blue on it. So I was a little bit annoyed about that. But I didn't have any problems with the mould so much. Though he did appear on last year's, sort of worst bots of the year videos that people was putting out, because there was a lot of obvious QC issues on it, and people weren't very happy with it, to be honest. But then they announced this, the Kingdom one. Now, I also last year the Masterpiece Tigertron came out, and I was very tempted to get it. But then I watched a few reviews, and there was obvious QC issues with that, and I was a bit on the fence of paying like 170, 180 quid for a Masterpiece figure, only for it to be you know, have loads of you know, quality control issues. You know, I was a bit reluctant to do that, and then I heard that they were doing a Kingdom version, so I thought I'd wait for the Kingdom version to come out. And of course, I pre-ordered it from Hasbro Pulse when the pre-order went up, and yeah, he's arrived, and obviously he's a Voyager class figure. He's not a deluxe. He is a rework of the cheetah mold. They've like upscaled it, but they've made a lot of mold improvements to it, and it really works. And this mold is just so much better than the cheetah mold because of the improvements they've done. But also, it's Tigertron, and he's got this amazing sort of, on certain parts, he's got like this almost glittery sort of paint finish. He comes with a gut gun as well, which Cheetor never came with, even though it can't really go anywhere in his beast mode. I think they give it a peg so it can go on his back, but it doesn't stow away underneath like it should do. He's got the metallic green, and he's awesome. He's amazing. I mean, I like, you know, Tigertron, you know, from, you know, the Beast Wars. I got the DVD box set season 1 last year and rewatched it, and yeah, he doesn't appear that much in the show. I mean, he's largely a loner. He sort of lives in the sort of like the snowy mountains, and he sort of patrols those remote areas for the Maximals, and occasionally he will come down and, you know, mix it up with the Predacons as and when required. And of course, him and Air Razor, you know, they got a thing going on, and then unfortunately they got you know, captured by the Vok, and then they got transformed into a Tiger Hawk, and had that massive sacrifice at the end of season 3. So yeah, but Tigertron himself, amazing figure. This thing looks amazing. There's a lot of people. Again, this bot appeared on a lot of people's top bots of the year list last year, and there's a lot of people saying, you know, it's like a mini masterpiece the way it works, and it's got amazing paintwork as well. I mean, when it's in Tiger mode, it's got some sort of like simulated dirt on parts of the Tiger mode, but it looks great. It's fantastic, and it's an awesome, you know, version. They're reissuing the original Tigertron mold as well this year, so that's something. I don't know whether I'd be willing to get that, but you know, I'm more than happy with this version. This version is absolutely awesome. I love this thing. So yeah, another Hasbro Pulse pre-order that came in this month. Kingdom Tigertron. Yeah, sorry. Comic. Yeah, I missed this. This arrived the same day as Tigertron on the 13th. I forgot to pick it up. So yeah, Traeds and Circuit, the final issue. Yeah, it turns out that one of the racers was the bad guy, and the whole thing was a big setup. One of the crew gets, you know, sort of arrested as you know, insurgent by the Velocitron authorities, and you know, sort of locked up, and the rest of the the wreckers leave the planet, you know, thinking, oh well, we failed, but then they're saying, oh well, they leave it open as if to say, you know, oh, we're going to go back, but I don't know whether there's going to be any more of this. I think this is the final issue of this particular run, so we'll stick a cork in it. It's done, and like I said, that arrived on the 13th. Right, so another couple of days, 15th, another Hasbro Pulse pre-order arrival. Kingdom Pipes. Now, when it comes to Pipes and Huffer, I am Huffer all the way. Huffer, I like to character mold set collect Huffer. I've got all the Huffer molds that they've done so far. But Pipes, I have got a couple of Pipes, and but you know, I don't really have any feelings for him particularly. I mean, yeah, okay, in the IDW More Than Meets the Eye, he had a bit of an incident where he didn't he get when they did they had the warp engine explosion, he got molded into the engine, and when he came out, he got crushed by he got squashed by Overlord when he escaped. So yeah, he didn't have much luck in the IDW comics, but I kind of wanted to get this because of the you know, it's got the I mean, Huffer, obviously he's got the hood, but Pipes, the G1 toy was engineered sort of back to front, so the cab went the other way around, and they just added this extra rotation joint so that, you know, you can put the turn the cab round and have it as these you know, sort of backpack with the Autobot symbol on it. Yeah, and he comes with these sort of pipe guns because he's pipes, you know, and yeah, it's a decent. I mean, this mold is really good. I like the Kingdom mold. You know, the Kingdom Huffer mold. I mean, they did that to, you know, the Golden Disc collection, repaints into Puffer and Road Rager. So yeah, decent mold. I decided to get him because, you know, I decided to go all in the to go all out with the Kingdom mold as far as I could, and he was another thing I thought, yeah, I'll get him, and I got him, and he's all right. He's pretty cool. And another Hasbro Pulse pre-order that arrived. Right, so next on the 18th. Now, speaking of Huffer, right now, obviously I've got all the Huffer molds apart from two that were announced back in the last year. Well, one that was announced early last year, and then the other one was announced because, like, there's the Iron Factory Home Watcher, the Iron Factory one that's supposed to be coming out in the next couple of months. But another figure that came out, well, was announced, or the pre-orders went up for it early last year, was Fans Toys Huffer or Rig. The pre-order for it went up about the same time as their Skull Cruncher, their Chomp. And there was that usual sort of feeding frenzy with the Fans Toys fanboys, you know, to try and hoover up all the pre-orders. Fortunately, I managed to find that Robo Toy Base had got pre-orders up for both the figures, and I placed pre-order deposits on them of $10 each. And I didn't know when the pre-orders was going to come up. Anyway, middle of this month, I get the notification from Robo Toy Base. You've got, you know, balance payment of £100 to pay. So as it, you know, threw me over budget this month, I had to go out and transfer some money from my TF Nation account into my current account to cover things. So that was all squared away. And then on the 18th, he arrived. So, Fans Toys FT47 Rig. Now, I don't mind saying, I wanted to hate this thing. I wanted to rip this toy a new one, big style, before it arrived. I really did. Because them shoulders, right? These sunken shoulders that he's got, I do not care for that. But if you'll let me explain. Right, now, obviously, when the pictures went up of this thing, I was looking at it and I thought, that don't look right. Those arms don't look right. Those sort of tapered arms, they don't look right. The shoulders don't look right. But then when you look at the G1 aesthetic, you know, the Fluoro Deary design of Huffer for the G1 cartoon, that's what this is. This is probably one of the most toon accurate figures that Fans Toys have ever done. It's ridiculous how toon aesthetic correct it is. And they've slavishly copied the cartoon design right down to the sunken shoulders. And I don't blame Fans Toys for doing that, because that's what their customers want. That's what a majority of Masterpiece G1 collectors want. They want toon accuracy above all else. That's what this toy is. And I don't care for that. I'm not a fan of the G1 cartoon. I like my Huffers to have, you know, proper shoulders. You know, shoulders that are, you know, on their shoulders, not down the midriff. But anyway, needless to say, it arrived. And my batting average with Fans Toys hasn't been very good. I only got 4 Fans Toys before this. I got Lupus, I got G2 Grinder, Sever, and then was it last year? Was it the year before? I got June Runner. Lupus and June Runner, you know, especially June Runner, I think he got on my worst list last year. Was it last year or the year before? Lupus, I wasn't a fan of Lupus either, because he got that stupid sort of sliding cockpit section in the back of the wolf mode, and the wolf head was just, the design of it was just totally rubbish. I just hated it. But this guy, so I was a bit apprehensive about getting this guy because of, you know, the sunken shoulders. But then it arrived. And then I got it out and I messed with it and I played with it and I transformed it, and I thought, actually, this thing's not that bad. Right, usual Fans Toys, a lot of die cast on it. It weighs an absolute ton, right? Paintwork. This thing is absolutely blathered with paint, and it's got like almost like a very fine metallic sheen to it. it looks really cool. Build quality is superb on this thing. Virtually everything works. There's no loose joints. Some of the more complex panels struggle to peg in a little bit, especially this panel here that flips round. But apart from that, the build quality is exemplary on it. It's perfect. So, you know, it's got 3 ticks in the box already. Then it's all down to the toon aesthetic, which I don't care for. But, you know, everything else about this figure is decent, is good. And I don't mind it so much. And like I said, I really wanted to hate on it, but I can't, because everything else is so good. It's just that dropped shoulder aesthetic that I don't like. Now, just to prove a point, I've took a picture of this and I've photoshopped it to show you how the shoulders should look in my mind. So to take a look at this. So as you can see, you know, I've raised the shoulders up to the proper height, and that looks so much better. I mean, if Fans Toys had gone to the trouble of making like the shoulders on like a sliding joint where they could slide up and down, or like a double sort of adjustable shoulders, so you can adjust the height of the shoulders, to the proper height, or for toon accuracy. If they'd have done that, I would have had no reason to complain. But as it happens, they went for toon accuracy because that's what their customers want. That's what Fans Toys does. And if you want a toon accurate huffer, for your G1 masterpiece collection, get this guy, because he's nigh on perfect. But for me, like I said, that little thing was enough to sort of detract from my likeness on this thing. But like I said, he's so good otherwise. Apart from that one thing, I'm willing to give him a pass. And I quite like this thing, though he isn't the best thing that I got this month. Even though he's the in all other aspects, he's the most expensive. He's the best built, the best painted. Everything, the best engineered figure. Oh yeah, talking about the transformation, I forgot to mention the transformation. Transformation on this thing is bizarre. He transforms totally different to any other Huffer toy that I've got. I've got all the other Huffer molds, and this guy, his transformation's arse about tit. Normally, the cab, the smokestack arms fold back, the wheels fold out of the cab, and the legs fold together to form the back of the truck. But this guy is totally different. His feet are the front of the truck, so the front of the truck comes up there, and the chest goes to the back. And it's overtly complicated, the transformation on this, but the way it's engineered and the way it all works is really fantastic. There are a few parts in it where you have like very thin sort of tabs sort of plugging in very firmly, and when you're trying to transform it in one direction, pulling it apart is super scary because you think you're going to break something. But apart from that, he's a really good figure, and I don't hate this thing. As much as I wanted to, I don't hate it. It's actually all right. I mean, he's got ratchet joints, and he's nice and solid, and he's a great figure. And so I got him, and like I said, I'm up to date with all the Huffer molds. Just that Iron Factory one to come out later this year. But apart from that, he's not so bad. Fans Toys rig, he's not so bad. Right, so next 19th. Now I said, character mold set collecting Beachcomber. Oh, I got me New Age Jones. Yeah, so New Age's Beachcomber has also come out now. So I got this guy. He's a really neat little figure. Nicely painted, decently articulated, neat little transformation. The only thing about this guy, when he's in alt mode, his buggy mode looks kind of fat. But apart from that, he's a decent figure. He's got amazing articulation. He looks great. Can't really complain. It's another little Legends scale Beachcomber. And I'm all up to date with the Beachcomber. I'm all up to date with the Beachcomber molds now that I've got that guy. And yeah, so last couple of things. Now, the fourth and final Hasbro Pulse item arrived on the 20th, and this should give you a glow, a golden disc. So out of these golden disc collection figures that they were doing as like the tail end of the Kingdom line, you got like that that repaint of Tigertron. You had the Puffer and Road Rager. You had Jackpot and Terrorsaur. So they decided to do Kingdom Terrorsaur in this line. Instead of having him as a separate release, they did him as part of this gold disc collection thing. I wanted to get it because I wanted to go with my my Kingdom Predacons. I wanted to get a updated Terrorsaur, and that's what this is. Now in robot mode, he looks all right. He's got a typical, very very atypical smirking face like Terrorsaur does, because Terrorsaur in Beast Wars was basically he was basically the Starscream character. He was always trying to usurp Megatron, and even though there was that episode in season 1, the possession episode where the ghost of Starscream possessed Waspinator, but anyway, Terrorsaur, he's basically a heavy retool repaint of the Air Razor mold, and which sort of works, but quality control on this guy isn't great. It's most notably the wings, because wings, just when you're trying to pose the wings, they fall apart, and because the tolerances on the wings are pretty bad, to be honest. They're not great. And yeah, I'm not, it's a shame really. The Terrorsaur mode looks, it's got a lot of junk in the trunk. I mean, the Air Razor mode had the same problem, but that didn't look quite so bad. This guy just got all the stuff stuffed underneath. He kind of looks like Rodan from Godzilla in Alt mode, because he's got a yellow beak, and I'm kind of thinking he looks like Rodan off Singular Point, Godzilla Singular Point, which came out last year. He's kind of got that look about him without the blue sort of things down his beak. But I don't know. It's just the QC issue on the wings. It's just, yeah, really. And also his heels ball joints on his heels are a bit loose as well, and because he's got a lot of weight in his backpack, when you stand him up, he likes to fall over backwards. And he didn't come with the shoulder cannons as well. That's another thing. I would have preferred him to have come with the shoulder cannons, but he didn't. He just came with a regular gun. Hopefully, one of these third-party add-on, people who do these third-party add-ons is going to do a number on this, where they're going to have some filler panels, and they're going to give him the shoulder cannons and stuff like that to beef this mold up a little bit. But as it stands, he looks all right. Like I said, he looks all right in robot mode. He's not too bad. He looks pretty good. In Terrorsaur mode, there are issues with the aesthetic and QC on the wings. Not very good. Trying to pose this guy, the wings just fall apart in your hands all the time. It's a shame, really. But I got him, and he was, another Hasbro Pulse Pre'order that arrived this month. But yeah, he turned out to be a bit of a disappointment. And the last thing to arrive this month. Now, AliExpress. I did a couple of orders off AliExpress this month. Jones was from AliExpress. And I did order another thing. Again, I've been somewhat influenced by people's top bots of the year lists that they did last year. Obviously, That sort of convinced me to go for the G1 coloured Generation Selects Galvatron. Yeah. So yeah, I was kind of influenced. I would say Kingdom Pipes as well. It was sort of influenced because he appeared on some people's top bots a year list last year. But another figure that appeared on a couple of people's top bots of the year last year is this guy. Magic Square's Deadly. Now, it's their sort of third-party Legend Scout Perceptor. And, I like my third-party Legend stuff. I don't, collect it religiously, but I like, if a particular character comes out in this scale, from certain manufacturers, I'll go for it. Obviously Beachcomber and Bay Razor, because, well, I character mold set collect Beachcomber, so I had to get those. But sometimes another character will come up, and I like the look of that, and I'll get it. I bought this because this guy appeared on a couple of people's top bots lists last year. They're raving about it, so I decided to go for it. Got it off AliExpress, and actually, I don't know whether you can see. Can you see that sheen on him? Now, Magic Square are renowned for moulding their things in coloured plastic, and the plastic's got like that sort of foggy, milky quality to it, which gives the characters a matte finish. And certain people don't care for that, right? They don't care for that, and they go for the New Age equivalent because the New Age is fully painted. So this is a Magic Square figure that is fully painted. They've obviously listened to their critics, and this guy he's blathered in paint. Absolutely blathered. You can see that shine, and it's got like a very fine metallic sort of tint to it as well. And it's a really awesome paint job they've done on this thing. And being Magic Square, the engineering is pretty cool on it. Bit fiddly to get him into the microscope mode, and he doesn't do the tank mode, or at least I don't think he does. There's nothing in the instructions to show you how to do the tank mode. You might be able to fan mode it into the tank mode. I don't know. I've not really tried. But, yeah, he's all right. He's really good. I really like this guy. He's pretty awesome, and I can see why people like this thing so much. I think the thing that's pushed them over is the fact that they bothered to paint this figure, unlike some of their other, well, majority of their other sort of releases. I don't have a problem with Magic Square. I've got a few Magic Square items, and I don't mind the fact that they don't paint them, but some people do, and they've listened to their critics, and they've actually painted this guy, and he looks really good. Though this is the second issue of Deadly. It's not the first issue, because the first issue came out earlier last year and they've reissued it. Whether or not this reissue's got the paint on and the original one didn't, I don't know. I'm hoping they're all painted, but if this is because this is the reissue, it's got the paint on it. That might be the reason, but yeah. So I got Deadly, and he's all right. He's a really good little bot. So that's it. That's my haul for this month. Free comics. Got a bunch of Kingdom figures. Got free KTRTs. Third-party Masterpiece. Some third-party Legend stuff. Yeah, pretty good haul. Now, going into next month, obviously, I'm filming this on Sunday the 30th. Obviously, this video is going out on the last day of the month, 31st. And then February the 1st is Chinese New Year. So if you like buying lots of, sort of goodies from China, yeah, I would steer clear of China for the next couple of weeks. Because, the Chinese New Year, every year, it always screws up shipping of and dispatching of items that you've ordered off, Chinese websites for a couple of weeks, because China just grinds to a halt for the Chinese New Year celebrations. So I'm going to give China, Chinese, like AliExpress and other places, other sites, where who ship out, Chinese items. I give them a wide berth next month. So I'm going to concentrate on stuff from the UK and Europe. I might still buy my Korean items though. Apparently, in Korea as well, they have like the New Moon New Year celebration as well. It's not the Chinese New Year so much, but they have a similar sort of New Year celebration, for the new moon. So they have a similar sort of thing. So I might delay my Korean purchases by a week. I have had this before where I've ordered stuff off, Mr. Soon off eBay. He always used to send me a message saying, "Oh, there will be a delay in your shipment because of blah blah blah," public holidays and stuff like that. So I'm used to that. But the Korean one's not quite so bad as the China one. But anyway, so next month I've got a bunch of things already lined up to purchase. I'm going to try and get another 3 Korean toys, though they might be slightly delayed, so my reviews might be a little bit staggered because of that. I might even do a multi-purchase off Mr. Garuk Camaro again. I never thought I'd do that because of the Brexit and all that. VAT payments on purchases from Europe on eBay are a thing, as well as AliExpress. It's like VAT payments bloody everywhere online now. So anyway, with that said, we've come to the end of the video, and as I do in these end of month bot hauls, I show you what my opinion is my most favourite and least favourite bot I got over the course of a month, or first and worst. And it was a bit of a struggle this month. There were a couple of figures that qualified for the worst. For instance, this guy, because of that. I had a moment with Bayrazor when I was first transforming him. He was really, really awkward to transform him into his alt mode the first time round. So yeah, didn't adhere himself to me in that respect. Then you could argue, fans toys rig. I really wanted to hate that thing, but it turned out to be pretty damn good. So I can't hate on it. So what am I going to make for my worst bot? And then something came in towards the end of the month. And yeah, there we go. That's the worst bot. But if I had trouble with the worst, the first was even worse, because I had a bunch of stuff I got this month that were pretty good, but they were all sort of an even sort of likeness, if that's such a thing. I liked them all equally, and there wasn't anything that was like overtly better than the rest. And it was a real struggle to figure out which was the best figure I wanted. I mean, Generation Select's Galvatron was definitely in the running for this, but the figure I've decided. So I've finally figured out what the first and worst is this month. So here we go, first and worst. So yeah, Kingdom Tigertron. He's really awesome. He's awesome. He's really good. He pips Galvatron to the post. I don't know. He just looks so amazing in hand. Awesome figure. Great Tiger mode. Great transformation. Totally solid. No loose joints on this guy. Comes with a gut gun. The whole nine yards. So yeah, like him. And then Terrorsaur. Like I said, he looks all right in robot mode, but QC issue on the wings is really sort of done him in for me. I don't hate the guy, but I hate the QC issues on this thing. That's not good. They could have done better than that. So he gets the wooden spoon. He's the worst thing I got this month. And that is that. That is my first haul for 2022. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. I got a bunch of stuff this month. Next month, like I said, I'm not going to be doing any Chinese purchases next month. I'm going to be steering clear of China because of the Chinese New Year. And I have got a list of things I want to pull the trigger on. So we'll just have to wait and see what that brings. But with that all said, I've been TFI Wilderness, and I'll catch you next time. Ta-da.